Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. And I know all of you, myself included, I'm just utter disgust over the Minnesota Somali scams in which billions, let that hit you, billions of your and my tax dollars were stolen. These people, I mean, these are the people Democrats laid out the red carpet for with their open border policies and non-existent immigration enforcement. These people from inside our country orchestrated one of the largest scale thefts in American history, and that's not even being remotely hyperbolic. I want you to listen to this short clip where Congressman Jim Jordan lays out just how bad it really was. Again, we're talking billions, and Jordan makes it crystal clear that Tim Walz and Keith Ellison, their attorney general, at best allowed this to happen, and at worst, they actively and intentionally orchestrate it themselves. Check it out.
The behavioral intervention program went from $3 million to $400 million in 5 years. The housing stabilization went from $2.6 million to $104 million. The integrated community supports went from $4.6 million to $170 million in 3 years. And this is unbelievable what's happening. And you're trying to hide behind some pretend court orders.
I mean, dang, seriously. I mean, seriously. Imagine you ran a company, right, that had $2 million worth of expenses, and then the following year those expenses shot up to over $100 million. Are you going to just say, well, I don't know, I didn't see it, I don't know what's going on? Of course you wouldn't, because it's your freaking money. That's why you wouldn't. I mean, this is just absolutely disgraceful. But wild enough, it doesn't stop there in the corrupt state of Minnesota. As we reported last month in D.C., Muslim Minnesota lawmaker Ilhan Omar's net worth soared by, you ready for this? Soared by 30,000% in 1 year. She and her husband went from being worth less than $100,000 in 2024 to now being worth more than $30 million in 2025, again, in 1 year. And here's the crazy part. These types of returns aren't even that unusual for people like Ilhan Omar and her fellow swamp rats in Congress. In fact, they've come to be expected. And it was just confirmed that for the 5th year in a row, Congress investment returns once again outperformed even the best hedge funds on Wall Street. Imagine that. The full Congressional Insider Trading Report for 2025 has been released, and the data is shocking. 38 members of Congress made higher returns than Warren Buffett last year. Their stock gains absolutely obliterated the average investors, often with stock trades that line up with the committees they sit on. And this isn't the only year this has happened. It happens literally every year. And it's going to continue happening, unfortunately. But how do they do this exactly? Well, joining us today is my good friend Ross Givens. And Ross knows this world of corruption and insider trading like no one else. Ross knows exactly how these congressional swamp rats like Nancy Pelosi, Ilhan Omar, or governors like Tim Walz are actually profiting off of the backs of hardworking patriots. So he's putting on an event. It's on Thursday, April 16th at 3 p.m. Eastern, completely free, where you guys can learn the little secrets many, just like Nancy, use to profit off the back of hardworking, tax-paying Americans. I have the link in the description below, so click on that, sign up for that, or scan the QR code. You're not going to want to miss it. It's completely free just for my audience, just for you guys. But before we talk about that, Ross, how you doing, my friend? Welcome back.
Hey, thanks, Dr. Steve. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good. Well, I think it's good to see you. Like I said, you always get my blood boiling at the beginning. It does resolve itself, which is very, very nice. Because again, you turn the lemons into lemonade. But let's jump right in here.
Sure.
So the 2025 Congressional Trading Report is out, and Ross, how long have we known each other here now? Is it three? We were talking about it before, 3 years or so?
Three or four, yeah.
Yeah. So this stuff, it shouldn't surprise me. It shouldn't shock me. but it still does. I'm still shocked when you show us the numbers. So fill everybody else in. What happened last year?
Well, like you said in the beginning, they keep doing this. It's the same as it was the year before. Once again, members of Congress beat the market while in office, and many of them did it with trades that raised some very serious eyebrows. Now, this graphic here, these are the top performers last year, and I want everyone to know this is not like their best stock trade. This is their entire portfolio, their whole retirement account. So you've got, Warren Davidson here doing 78%, Norcross at 70, 67, 62, massive returns. And, they didn't just beat the market. They're not like a couple of points ahead. They're colossally beating the market. Congress saw, on average, among all of them, average gains of just over 33% last year. And, to put that in perspective, the market had a great year. It was up like 16.5%. Congress doubled that. And I've been in the investing world for over 20 years, and I can tell you the best of the best of the best professional money managers with decades of experience struggle to match the index.
Right.
And we've got senators and representatives and former bartenders and English majors out here making 30, 40, 50% returns. So once again, just really incredible, the talent of the stock pickers we elect to D.C. here.
You forgot to mention gender studies majors and the like.
Yes, of course.
Brilliant stock pick. Yeah, I mean, So, and I like how you're underscoring this, because even in a strong market, they are still somehow besting the index.
Yeah, exactly. Which, impressive, suspicious, just depends how you want to look at it, how charitable you're feeling today.
Yeah, right. Right. All right. Now, walk us through what you're actually seeing in the data, because this, again, like you pointed out, this isn't just one or two lucky trades.
No, not at all. This has nothing to do with luck. So what we do is really break this stuff down. And it's easy to see these big numbers, say, oh, they cheat. But when you start breaking down these portfolios, just member by member, stock by stock, it's anything but random. All right, so that 33% figure, that's the average, which means some did a little better, some did a lot better. Davidson, as I said, 78% return. And I mean, to put that in perspective, these are the returns of Warren Buffett for the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
He's never made that kind of return, okay? So it's incredible. And this wasn't isolated either. I'm not just trying to dump on Democrats, Republicans, Dems, junior members, veterans. They're all getting these insane returns in the stock market.
Yeah.
Now, Nancy Pelosi, as we've talked about numerous times, got the most attention. She's the one that brought this to the forefront, but they're all doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. I remember you telling me about Nancy Pelosi and 3 years ago, and then I knew she was crooked, but I never imagined it was this bad, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and like you always say, there is a silver lining to this, and I know it gets your blood boiling and everyone viewing. That silver lining is that you can follow their trades. All right. The only good part is they have to report this stuff. Right. So what I do, what my team does, is follow this and look for these big outliers. And this is both members of Congress as well as corporate insiders like CEOs and CFOs. So if we see them all suddenly piling into some little stock out of nowhere, we can follow along and make a little money along with them. And again, Republicans, Democrats, you name it. Like this chart shows the performance by party.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about that. So is this, since I cut my teeth with Pelosi on this, so I always associated this with Democrats.
Yeah. Well,
but this isn't a party problem, is it? This is not one party over another. This is the one
issue they've somehow come to agree on. Yes, that they should be able to cheat in the stock market. Republicans are actually better at it if you look at the numbers.
Right. Oh gosh.
But yeah, some of these guys. I mean, you don't make these kind of returns just buying the market index or some ETF, right? You don't make 50, 60% annual returns doing that. And so the big money and the trades you can follow along are what we call these outlier investments. That's where the real money is.
Yeah. And you've used that term before. Can we talk a little bit about that? Because I don't think everyone fully understands how that works.
Yeah. Well, to give you an example, like if you imagine you're in Congress, right, and you're on a couple of military subcommittees, these are the committees in charge of awarding those $500 million, $10 billion defense contracts. And a lot of those go to the usual suspects, Lockheed, Boeing, et cetera. But some are going to go to smaller companies, companies you never heard of. And when those little contracts are announced, it means some little company that could make anything from a sensor to a part, a munitions part, they're going to make hundreds of millions of dollars from it. And when that becomes public, that company's stock is going to skyrocket on that news. So if you knew about this deal in advance, you buy that company stock and you make a fortune. And that's what they're doing. They are taking information they learn in Congress and using it to make money for themselves in the stock market. And again, the biggest, most important part is that it is all public information. You can see what they're buying. You can follow along. I think I showed you this one before, but just in case your viewers didn't see it, this is like the definition of an outlier trade. Okay, this is one from Representative Susie Lee. And this is their filing. It's called a periodic transaction report. It's what they have to file anytime they buy or sell a stock. And I'll show people in the free event how to find these. They're online. They're free. So Susie Lee is on the House Appropriations Committee and the Defense Subcommittee. And those are the groups, like we said, who decide who gets money, how much they get. Now, she bought one stock in 3 years. So she's not somebody who's buying up stock all the time. And the stock she bought was not NVIDIA or Amazon or Apple or Google. She bought Rheinmetall.
And, you know, I remember you mentioning this to me, and when you mentioned the outlier just there, that's the one. I couldn't remember the name, but I remember this obscure German company that this congresswoman bought into, and I'm like, Rheinmetall, that's it.
Yeah. And it's not just German, it's an arms manufacturer. So the one stock this woman on the Defense Subcommittee, the House Appropriations, buys in 3 years is an off-the-radar German arms manufacturer named Rheinmetall. That, to me, is kind of an odd pick. And here's what that stock did over the next 10 months.
Wow. And you said anyone could see this.
Yeah, it's public record. It's all accessible online. Most people just don't know where to look because Congress doesn't make this easy. There is a free online public database. It shows up. So that's why we do these training events, as you know, once a quarter or so. Show people how to piggyback these trades, how to buy the same stocks and make money alongside them, hopefully.
Right. So bottom line, what you're showing there with Rheinmetall, again, I think it sounds like a German heavy metal band, but so cool. People overseeing national security bought stock in a company that directly benefits from national security contracts.
Bingo.
Right. I think I'm getting that. I'm putting two and two together there. I mean, it's obviously a huge conflict of interest, to put it mildly.
Oh, absolutely. And look, it's not, this is not some isolated case. I mean, we've seen numerous committee level overlaps between legislation and oversight and their stock purchases. And, it's not even a secret anymore. We all know this stuff takes place. Nancy Pelosi made $200 million doing it. She's been called out by everyone from Elon Musk to the President of the United States.
That's right.
No penalties, no prosecutions, not even a fine. And so when you're operating under that kind of a backdrop, why would you stop? You've seen Pelosi doing this. Everyone knows there are hundreds of millions of dollars that were allocated to funds designed just to mimic her trades. That's how good she is. And they've proposed, 3, 4 at least bills to ban Congress from trading, and none of them passed. So, because they're the ones who have to pass it. They're not going to do it.
Exactly. So, the thieves are not going to pass the prohibition.
Exactly, right. It'd be like criminals having to come together and put harsher sentences on crime. It's not going to happen. The only silver lining, again, is that you can follow along. You can buy the same stocks they're buying. You can use their information from your advantage, and you can do it without ever breaking a single law. In fact, I believe it is unethical not to follow along. After all, we are paying their salaries. So once you know how to kind of filter it down, which I'll show you on Thursday, you can do very well. And as I mentioned, it's not just politicians, CEOs, vice presidents, every C-suite executive at every publicly traded company also has to report their trades publicly. And so we can see when these insiders, who we all agree have an informational advantage, are loading up on a little pharmaceutical stock before a drug trial, or someone loading up on a defense contractor before a big defense contract. And it's a huge advantage. And I think anyone not using it is missing out on potentially huge profits.
Yeah. No, I love the way you put it. If anything, it's unethical not to be following what these people are doing. We're the ones paying their salaries, for heaven's sakes. That's why I love what you do, helping people use this DC corruption for their own benefit, but legally and ethically. Gang, Ross's free live training session is this Thursday, April 16th at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's online, so anyone can attend. You do not want to miss this. I've been to a number of them, and I can tell you it's incredibly eye-opening. You never imagine all this information is available online for you to follow to guide you in your investments. So click the link in the description or go to turleytalksinsidertrading.com. And when you register, as I understand it, Ross, they're going to get that. I think you mentioned a free insider trade idea complete with the full.
Yeah, we're doing that again this time, right? Because
Yeah.
I know some people can't come live. So we always, when you register, we're going to send you our most recent insider pick. So it's going to be all of our research, the stock, the ticker, which insiders are buying it. And I send it out for two reasons. One, I hope you make some money on it. Right. And two, I just really want people to see what's available to them.
Yes.
So even if you can't attend live, I always encourage people to click that link and register. We'll send you the recording afterwards if you can't make it live, but you're going to get this free trade pick either way. So yeah, click that link, sign up, and I promise it is, as you said, very eye-opening.
It is eye-opening, and it's worth registering just for that free resource alone. So, Ross, as always, like I said, you always get my blood boiling at the beginning, but at the end, I feel a peace and a calm and a serenity. Eye-opening and also very therapeutic at the same time. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday, my friend.
Thanks, Dr. Steve. You as well.